Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Hare Krishna Swami Gopi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Mataji, whenever you are ready, you can please start, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayat Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamalini Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 6, verses 31 to 44, the killing of the demon Putana. Text 31. Meanwhile, all the cowhead men, headed by Nanda Maharaja, returned to Mathura, and when they saw on the way the gigantic body of the Putana laying dead, they were struck with great wonder. Text 32. Nanda Maharaja and other Gopas exclaimed, My dear friends, you must know that Anaka Dundubi Vasudeva has become a great saint or the master of the mystic power. Otherwise, how could he have foreseen this calamity and predicted it to us? Text 33. The inhabitant of Raja cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces with the help of the axes. Then they threw the pieces far away, covered them with wood, and burned them to ashes. Text 34. Because of because of Krishna's having sucked the breast of the Rakshasi Putana, when Krishna killed her, she was immediately freed of all material contaminations. Her sinful reactions automatically vanished, and therefore, when her gigantic body was being burnt, the smoke emanated from her body was fragrant like a guru incense. Text 35-36. Putana was always hankering for the blood of the human children, and with that desire she came to kill Krishna. But because she offered her breast to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievement. What then is to be said to those who had natural devotion and affection for Krishna as mothers and who offered who offered him their breast to suck or offer something very dear, as a mother offers something to the child? Text 37-38. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always situated within the core of hearts of a pure devotee, and he is always offered prayers by such worshipable personalities of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Because Krishna embraced Putana's body with great pleasure and sucked her breast, although she was great witch, she attained the position of the mother in the transcendental world and thus achieved the highest perfection. What then to be said to the cows whose nipples Krishna sucked with great pleasure and who offered their milk very jubilantly with affection, exactly like that of a mother? Text 39 and 39-40. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the bestower of many benedictions, including liberation, kaivalya, or oneness with the Brahman effulgence for the personality of Godhead. The gopis always felt material love, and Krishna sucked their breast with full satisfaction. Therefore, because of their relationship as mother and son, although the gopis were engaged in various family activities, one should never think that they return to this material world after leaving their bodies. Text 41. Upon smelling the fragrance of the smoke emanating from Putana's burning body, many inhabitants of Vrajabhumi in distant places were astonished. Where is this fragrance coming from? They asked. Thus they went to the spot where Putana's body was being burnt. Text 42. When the inhabitants of Raja, who had come from the distant places, heard the whole story of how Putana had come and then been killed by Krishna, they were certainly astonished, and they offered their blessings to the child for his wonderful deed of killing Putana. Nanda Maharaja, of course, was very much obliged to Vasudeva, who had foreseen the incident and simply thanked him, thinking how wonderful Vasudeva was. Text 43. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Kurus, Nanda Maharaj was very liberal and simple. He immediately took his son Krishna on his lap as if Krishna had returned from death, and by formally smelling his son's head, Nanda Maharaja undoubtedly enjoyed transcendental bliss. Text 44. Any person who hears with faith and devotion about how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Putana, and who thus invests his hearing in such childhood pastimes of Krishna, certainly attains attachment for Govinda, the Supreme Original Person. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 6th chapter, the killing of the demon Putana. Thank you very much, Prabhujis and Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna Das Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, whenever you're ready, you can please start, Prabhuji. Take over the call.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so many, Mataji, for reading the translation today. And thank you to all devotees for joining the call. Thank you, Sundaram Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to purify my tongue and so that we can discuss today in the morning Srimad Bhagavatam for the pleasure of all the assembled devotees. Let me offer my prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshitarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hukum karoti vachalam pangum langai yat kripatam aham vande Shri Guru Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna to all the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. So that today we are gonna discuss the last section of the chapter 6, the killing of demon Putana. So before we'll start today's discussion, let's quickly recap what we have seen so far. So we have seen in the last chapter how Nand Maharaj went to Mathura to pay taxes to the Kamsa, and then Vasudev Maharaj heard that Nanda had come. He met him and he lovingly inquired about the well-being of his two sons, Balaramji and the Krishna. Then Vasudev was also curious to know whether Nanda understood the special truth behind the Krishna's appearance, because, as you know, Vasudev Maharaj took Krishna from Mathura and then in the midnight to Gokul and exchanged Krishna with the daughter of Yashoda. So he was very curious to know, and then later on they had a conversation, and then because he understood the politics of Kamsa, so that he warned Vasudev Maharaj and Vasudev Maharaj advised Nanda Maharaj that to leave Mathura immediately and return to Gokul as soon as possible, because there is a danger. He warned because he predicted, he could foresee. At that time in the Gokul, Krishna in this chapter, Krishna was just a tiny baby. and he's living peacefully in Gokul. And meanwhile, Kamsa sent Putana. Uh, uh, she's a witch, demonic personality, and her mission was to kill all the children. But Kamsa sent him specially to kill Krishna. So, because Kamsa wanted to kill all the newborn children within the last 10 days so that he can be protected from that terror of Krishna. So, he just wanted to kill all them. So, using her mystic power, Putana transformed herself into the beautiful woman and entered into the Nand Maharaj palace. Because it's an arrangement of Krishna's Yog Maya, even though Yashoda Maya and Rohini Devi saw her entering the house, but they did not stop her. They did not suspect her because it's a Krishna arrangement because Krishna wanted to deliver Putna. Now, what Putna did, when Putna entered into the Krishna's room, she took her into the lap and offered him her poisoned breast. So she applied the Kalakota poison as Prabhuji yesterday tell us. Now, Supreme Personality Krishna, at that time, he closed his eyes and then he accepted her breast with a great jubilation. He accepted her breast. And then he not only sucked the milk, but he also sucked the life air of the Putana. And Putana could not tolerate that pain and she came back to her original form as a gigantic form. And then we saw Putna pass away, and then Krishna was playing in her body. And then all the gopi lovingly protected baby Krishna. And then they offered the purification mantra. They offered, they applied cow dung, cow urine, and they chanted many mantras like May Keshava protect you, make May Vasudeva protect you, and all different mantras they put in this purification ceremony we discussed in the last section. So in the today's section, starting from verse 31st, before we go there, so what we learned so far, we learned in this current chapter, like that the material danger can come in any form, anytime. So padam padam yata vipadam. So it can come anytime. So we need to be very cautious. Definitely, we can be always take the protection from Krishna. We can rely on Krishna. We can depend on Krishna. So Krishna, because always protect his devotee, but at the same time, we also need to be very careful. Correct? Like how Nanda Maharaj took the advice of Vasudev Maharaj, and then he returned back. So that same way, we also need to be cautious. We need to also take the advice of receive the advice from the great devotees and follow their advice. And also what we saw in this that how Krishna accepted the motherly action of Putana and delivered her. And then we will hear, like in today's section, that gave her the great position in the Vaikuntha planet as a nanny position and the mother position. So in the today's verses, text 31, so here now all the cowherd men along with the Nand Maharaj returned from Mathura, and Ati Vismita, they struck with wonder. Ati means very much. They struck with wonder because when they saw the gigantic body of Putana lying dead, they were struck with great wonder. So Prabhupada explaining in this purport that cowherd men never seen this kind of gigantic body in the Vrindavan before. And they were struck with the wonder where this body came from. Maybe it came by mistake here, or it has dropped from sky, or it's a power of some mystic yoga. And they were just trying to guess that why this body is lying down in the Vrindavan. They were not able to understand it. In the text 32, there is a name called Anakadundi, which is another name of Vasudeva. Now Nanda Maharaj and all the Gopas are exclaimed because now they were trying to relate, like Vasudeva was warning them to go back because there could be a danger in the Gokul. So now they are able to relate that dot. They are saying that Vasudev was become a great saint. They did not understand because they are very simple-hearted people. They could not understand like the philosophy of Kshatriya. Vasudeva as a Kshatriya could understand what could be the next evil plan of Kamsa, because he can understand that Kamsa may do this kind of activity, heinous act. So that is why he was warning Nanda Maharaj, there could be dangers, so please go back. So, no, but Nanda Maharaj and cowherd man was not able to understand that Vasudev understood that politics, because they were a simple-hearted person. They thought, like, looks like Vasudev has become a great saint or master of a mystic power. Otherwise, how he could foresee the calamity which is gonna come to Gokul. So now Prabhupada in the purport is explains the difference between Kshatriya and innocent Vaishyas. So Prabhupada mentioned by studying the political situation, Vasudeva could see what could happen, whereas Nanda Maharaj, the king of agriculturists, could not guess the Vasudeva was a great saintly person and had developed a mystic power. So Vasudeva, Prabhupada says, but Vasudeva has master of all mystic power. That's why he is a father of Krishna. Krishna appear in his house. But in this case, Vasudeva could understand the evil politics of Kamsa. That's why Vasudeva warned Nand Maharaj to take the precaution. So, what we could understand, we can definitely depend on Krishna, because Krishna always protects his devotee. But we should always follow the instruction and advice of our acharyas, guru, and well-wisher, and take necessary actions for our protection as well. So in the text 33, now inhabitants of Vraja cut the gigantic body of Putana into the pieces with the help of axes, because they threw the pieces far away and covered them with the wood and burned them to the ashes. So here Prabhupada is in the purport is comparing that with the philosophy of analogy of snake. It is sometime what happened when a snake is being brutally injured. So a snake can be motionless for prolonged period of time, but he can pick up the motion again. He can come into the consciousness and start moving after some time, after few minutes, after several days. So what Prabhupada is telling, as it is a practice that after a snake has killed, its body is to cut into various pieces for fear that it may come to the life again. And because merely killing a serpent is not sufficient. After it is killed, we should cut his body into the pieces and then burn them into the ashes so that danger will be over. And Putana in this case resembled a serpent. So therefore cowherd man took the same precaution to burning her body into the ashes. We can compare for our learning as a practical lesson, like in as a practicing devotee in our heart we have a six enemies: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Bhai, Mad, Matsar. If these six enemies are sitting in our heart for prolonged period of time in a static way, we just kept them, okay, let it be. Okay, we are doing the practice of the devotional service, but still at the same time we are keeping them in our heart. Okay, I have little bit lust, that's okay. I have a little bit envy, that's okay. If we are having that kind of tendency and attitude, then it will backfire us. So better we need to get rid of all these enemies from our heart and burn them into the ashes with the help of chanting, with the fire of chanting our devotional service. So in that way, they can get rid of gradually. We should not never put our both the legs into two boats. We should always put our legs into the one boat. Otherwise, if we will not introspect ourselves, will not introspect our habits, then it will we will not able to progress smoothly in our devotional life. In text 34, talk about now when uh, Krishna sucked the breast of Rakshasni Putana, she was immediately freed from all the material contamination. Her all the sinful reaction automatically vanished because of the touch of the Krishna. Because Krishna accepted the breast of the Putana. And her gigantic body, when cowherd man were burning it, the smoke emanates from that body, and that smoke was fragrant like a aguru incense, because she was purified. And then that's why when the body they were burning, the Lord the smell was so fragrant. And Prabhupada said it's a most agreeably scented herb. That smell was like that. So Prabhupada in this purport say the effect of Krishna consciousness, discuss the effect of Krishna consciousness. If one applying his senses in the service of the Lord, one immediately freed from the material contamination. So in this case, when Putana was rendered some service, because here Putana rendered the service to the Krishna by offering the milk to Krishna, but her intentions were evil, but her action was a motherly action, and Krishna accepted that action, and he overlooked her intention. And then because of her, she was rendering the service to the Lord by feeding him with her breast. She was immediately purified, and when they were burning that nasty material body into the ashes, the smell was so fragrant. Now, text 35 to 36, here, Putana actions were compared with the motherly gopis of the Gokul and Vrindavan. So, text 35 and 36, Putana was hankering for blood of the human children, as we know. And she desired, when she came to Nanda Maharaj's palace, her desire was to kill Krishna. Because she offered her best to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievement. She got a position of Nani into the spiritual planet. And then now Prabhupada is comparing what then it is to sad of those. So now Prabhupada is comparing Putana deliverance with those devotees who have a great devotion, great affection, great love for Krishna as a mother on the Vatsalya bhav, and who offered him their breast to suck or offer something very dear. A mother offered something to a child. So now Prabhupada is telling if Putana could attain such an exalted position in his spiritual life, even though her intentions were wrong, in neglectfully she offered that. Because she was envious, she wanted to kill Krishna. Even though Krishna accepted it and accepted that action and delivered her. What to talk about that Mother Yashoda and other gopis who serve Krishna with great affection, with great love. They offer their breast on a daily. They feed Krishna with the milk. So gopis automatically achieve the highest perfection. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhupada mentioned that the love of gopis, motherly in the motherly affection is the greatest, it's the highest. Affection of the gopis, either in the maternal affection or in the conjugal love, is the highest perfection in the life. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now text 37 and 38. Now Prabhupada talk about the heart of the devotee, and also here Prabhupada is comparing the Putana's actions compared with the cows of Vrindavan, who are feeding the milk from their nipple to the Krishna daily, on a daily basis. So what will be the position of those cows? So here, Padabhayam. Padabhayam means the lotus feet of the Krishna, and Bhakta Hridi Sthabhayam means Bhakta Hridaya Sthabhayam. Sthabhayam means established. So situated. So these two lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always situated in the heart of the pure devotee. So Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always situated within the core of the heart of the pure devotee. He is always offered prayer by such worshipable personality, like how Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva is offering the prayers. So now they are telling again here that Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Krishna embraced Putana body with great pleasure and sucked her breast. Although she was a great witch, but she attained the position of the mother in the spiritual planet. So now they're telling like what will be the position of the cows whose nipple Krishna sucked with great pleasure and great jubilation on a daily. So what will be their position? All these cows, all these gopis and gopas in this Krishna Leela came from the spiritual planet anyways. They came along with the Krishna, and then when the Krishna complete his pastime, they went back to the back to Godhead, because they are Nitya Parshad of Krishna. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that Putana was immediately promoted to Vaikuntha Loka, which is also sometimes described as a Swarga. But the Swarga mentioned in this verse is not the material heavenly planet, but the transcendental world. So Putana attained the position of a nurse is called Daiti Uchitam, as described by the Uddhava. Now in the text 39 and 40, Sukadeva Goswami is further glorifying the mother's motherly gopis of Vrindavan. Now here Prabhupada is saying in the purport, the advantage of Krishna consciousness is one may think of Krishna. So one can have a relationship with Krishna in 5 different rasas. Correct? We know as a friend, as a Vatsalya bhav, Dasya bhav, Shanta bhav, Shantaras, and then conjugal love. And then if one is connected with Krishna in any of these transcendental relationship, one's material life is understood to have already ended. So what it's a very important point. So if we are initially as a practicing devotee, we start as a dasya bhav. We as a servant of a Krishna, and we start our practice, and eventually when we come to the mature state of our devotion, we may able to recognize our actual relationship with the Krishna and what rasa we have a relation with the Krishna. And then here Prabhupada mentioned if one identify his relationship or her relationship with Krishna in one of these 5 rasas, then and at the same day, the material life is understood to have already ended. And because Krishna already confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9 verse, Tyatta deham punarjanma naitimamiti sa Arjuna. Going back home, back to Godhead is confirmed for such devotee. There is no doubt, there is no sunshine in this. And then Prabhupada mentioned the devotee who constantly think of Krishna in a particular relation will never come back into this material world, because when once person is delivered to the Golok Vrindavan, he will, or any spiritual planet, he will not come back to this material planet. And then in this, as a practicing devotee or in this material world, people also recognize them in the bodily format. Okay, this is my son, this is my mother, this is my wife, this is my uncle, and all. So we also form so many relations. So Prabhupada is calling that all those relations are temporary illusion, because this body is temporary. So all the body relation is also temporary illusion. But if a person who is doing the practicing the devotional service, if he transform this relation into the Krishna's relation, with the Krishna's relation, but when the same relationship awaken in Krishna consciousness, one's spiritual life is revived. One is guaranteed to return back home, back to Godhead. And then Prabhupada mentioned that how Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Krishnera samsara karachadi anachara, means one should give up all those sinful habits in their heart, all the 6 enemies, all 6 anarthas of our heart. If one should give up all sinful activity and remain in the Krishna consciousness, remain in the family of Krishna, then one liberation is guaranteed. It's a very important point that liberation is guaranteed if we can recognize our true relationship with Krishna by following the devotional, by following all the 9 process of devotional service with sincerity, with utter love. Now text 41. Now with the smelling of such wonderful fragrance, all the distant place, all the inhabitants of Vrajbhumi, and in the distant place, they astonished. Where this smell is coming from? Where is this fragrance coming from? Then they went to the spot where Putna's body was being burned. And then when these inhabitants of Vraja come from the distant place, heard the whole story of how Putna had come in the disguised form, then killed by Krishna, then they were certainly astonished, and they offered their blessing to the child for his wonderful deed to kill Putana. And then Nand Maharaj, of course, was very much obliged, because now Nand Maharaj remembered the Vasudev Maharaj, how he warned him, how he predicted the future, how he warned about this calamity. And then he was, in his heart, he was thankful to the Vasudev because he could foresee this incident. And he simply thanked him, then thinking how wonderful Vasudev was. He could not even realize, because he seemed so, Nanda Maharaj was so simple-hearted person, because he could not understand. Vasudev could understand this, analyze that, because of he understand the politics of Kamsa. But he thought he is a mystic. He has some mystic power. That's why he is thankful to the that Vasudev warned him to return to the Gokul. Now in the text 43, Now, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, "Oh Parikshit Maharaj, O best of Guru, Nanda Maharaj was very liberal and simple-hearted person because he forgot everything, like how Putana came, how he killed, who killed Putana. He was not bothered about all those things because he immediately took up the Krishna on his lap. He smelled the forehead of the Krishna, and then he enjoyed the transcendental bliss in the company of Krishna. And he did not think about all those things like it's a Krishna's Yog Maya arrangement because he's simple at it. He did not understand all those things. He thought it's a Narayan mercy that this witch was killed, and then my son is safe. And then he was enjoying the transcendental bliss. And in the text 44, it's talk about the Falashruti. Any person who hear with faith and devotion about the pastime of Putana, how Krishna delivered the Putana, how Krishna killed the Putana, attain the attachment for Govinda. One can gain the salvation from this material world and gradually develop the attraction for and devotion to Govinda, whoever hear this pastime. And before we'll end, I want to go ahead and then let's discuss few practical lessons from this Putana's pastime. First of all, we need to depend on the Krishna in all the circumstances, but we should also take the wise precaution. We should always listen to the advice of elders. We should always take the advice of our guru, our fellow devotees, like how Nanda Maharaj hear the warning of Vasudev and then immediately started for Gokul. We cannot be reckless and careless. Oh, we are always dependent on Krishna. Suppose we are driving the car, and okay, we can say, okay, let me sleep for 5 minutes. I am anyway. Krishna will protect me. I should not, steer the wheel. No, you cannot do that because we need to take our wise precaution. We can depend on Krishna. Krishna will definitely protect us, but we should also take our part. We should also take our responsibility. Correct? We cannot be reckless. And then second learning can be like we should never manage our anartha. We should always cut them into the pieces and burn them, correct? Like through the steady bhakti process. Like the snake analogy, what Prabhupada has given. Otherwise, a snake can come into the motion if he is not died. He can be brutally injured, but after certain days, he can maybe come to the life and then come to the motion again. So it's better. Our anartha can also pop up, after some days. Oh, I'm feeling like okay, I need to enjoy one day. I need to go out and to do something. Okay, let's eat outside or something. Some kind of things can come pop up in our mind, which are our old habit, because these old habits are very deep impression in our heart. So they can pop out. So we need to be very careful. We should be very steady in our sadhana so that we can be cautious and we can cut them and burn them thoroughly. It can be gradual process. It cannot be a one day, one night transformation. But yeah, but we need to be very careful. And then the third lesson will be even the imperfect service which we offer to Krishna become purifying. Because here in this case of Putana, her intention was evil, but her action was motherly action. So Krishna overlooked her intention and delivered her. So Krishna can accept the small good. Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Krishna never sees what we offer. Krishna did not accept the Chappan Bhoga offered by the Duryodhana, but he took the peel of banana. He accepted in the Vidurani's house. So Krishna is a Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna he accept the love what we offer, not the things what we offer. And then real security, another lesson we can hear, can come from the bhakti. Not real security cannot come from the, oh, I can have a material opulences like, okay, I can have a money, power, position. No, real security can come from bhakti only. Through bhakti we can cross this knee signs of this material ocean. We cannot cross this material ocean or this birth, death, life cycle. We cannot cross with the material endeavor, with the material success, with the all these six opulences. We cannot cross. We can only cross. So our real security for this, our soul is bhakti process. And we should make our home as a Krishna centered. We can have a family. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says we should not leave our family. We should make our family as a Krishna conscious. We should transform our all activity as a Krishna consciousness, so that ordinary duties become spiritual when we offer to the Krishna, like offering the food to Krishna. We cook every day, so we should cook for Krishna, not for ourselves. We should cook for Krishna and get the remnants of Krishna. We should we go for work, and then whatever money we earn, we can offer certain amount to the temple for book distribution or something else. And then we need to contact with Krishna. When we contact with Krishna, it purify even the, so here in this case, Putana was a demoniac witch, but just a sparsh, a contact of Krishna purified even the most contaminated lady, correct? So that we can understand that burning her body produced the fragrant smoke. So 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 definitely we are also, I mean, at least I'm talking about myself. I have a Putana within my heart. So I have a hope from this story. I can also, if I follow the bhakti process, steadily following my instruction from my guru and mentors, definitely one day or one lifetime, I can also be purified. And then another lesson what we can learn, if we follow this simple loving devotion, conquer the Lord more than, as we talk about, like example of Duryodhan and Vidurani. Simple loving devotion, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, is Krishna is accepting, is a Bhavagrahi Janardhana. And we should also do the daily practice of Hare Krishna Katha and chanting the name of the Krishna, so that we can also awaken the Rati for our Govinda with the steady progress in the bhakti process. I would like to pause here. Please forgive me for any mistake as your humble servant. ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
So much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, for wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all devotees for joining the class today. Hare Krishna.